Next stop everywhere.
Welcome back to Next Stop Everywhere, the Doctor Who podcast. I'm Charles Skaggs, back in the TARDIS once again, with only one partner in time this week. And this time, it's not Karen.
It is Karen.
Hi, Karen. Well, Karen's with me.
Right.
But
yeah,
it's not
who you expect.
It's not who you expect. It's Jesse who's out this time.
That's right.
Because Jesse is stuck at work, apparently, as we found out not like 20 minutes ago.
Exactly.
So even though we said, "Oh, I'm out the door," and then the next message that we got was, "I'm still stuck at work."
Right.
Boom, 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 boom.
Nope, go on without me. I'm sorry I don't have that on this board.
That's okay. That's all right. No problem. So welcome back, everybody. So essentially what we're doing, we're bringing the fandom zone to Next Stop Everywhere.
Right. Like we did 2 weeks ago, only this time it's for the entire episode.
So today is Next Stop Fandom Zone.
I like that.
You like that? Next Stop Fandom Zone.
Portmanteau for our name.
Right. Or the Everywhere Zone. Take your pick.
Is it portmanteau? I don't remember.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Oh, portmanteau means like when you mash up two names.
Oh, okay.
Parts of it taken out. So like Brangelina.
Okay, like a ship name.
Right.
Got it.
So Next Stop Fandom Zone would be.
Next Stop Fandom Zone is our ship name.
Oh, that's good. I like it.
You like that?
Yes, very much.
All right. And even better, kids, Karen is on pain meds.
Woohoo! Can you tell already?
Exactly. So, for those of you who listen to us on the Fandom Zone, you kind of have an idea what that entails.
Yes. I get a little goofy.
But for those who aren't familiar with us, and shame on you for not listening to us on Fandom Zone, but that's okay. We get it. But hopefully, so
you'll enjoy it.
You'll enjoy it, but yeah. So otherwise, you might want to strap yourself in, kids, because we're going for a ride.
I can't promise a ride, but I'm feeling no pain right now.
Well, we're going to try really hard not to come in at our usual 1 hour 30-minute plus.
Yeah,
let's try to stick to an hour.
Let's keep it to the NSA. NSA time.
Okay.
Yeah,
what is the National Security Agency doing here?
Yeah, I know. Well,
they're everywhere. They're everywhere. They're always listening. Hi, guys.
Nobody expects the NSA.
Yes, nobody expects this. You've been watching a lot of Python.
I told you I have.
Yeah. So, can you tell we're in for a ride? I think you can.
I know.
All right. So, today, here on Next Stop Everywhere, we are going to talk here at episode 125. We're going to talk about Kerblam.
Woohoo! You have to say it with the exclamation.
You do, because this is the very first Doctor Who story that actually has an exclamation mark.
Is it really?
In the title. Well, there's been novels.
Right.
And like I think it was Sky Pirates was one. Sky Pirates, yeah. But as far as televised episodes, this was the first one with the exclamation mark, if I recall correctly.
Excellent.
So breaking new ground again, Chibnall, with those punctuation marks. So written by
throwing around the commas and everything.
What's next? A semicolon?
Oh my God, no. Hyphens.
Yeah. Hyphens are much cooler than semicolons.
They are.
there. This episode is written by Pete McTighe, who Paul from Australia likes to point out is an Australian. So that's kind of cool. So we also have an Australian director in Jennifer Perot, or Parrott. I like to think it's Perot because it sounds better. And she directed recently the Saranga Conundrum here a couple episodes back. So curious about your thoughts on her direction here. And this is the 7th episode of Series 11 that just aired yesterday, November 18th, 2018. And right off the bat, let's just Karen, since I'm not going to go to Jesse because he's not here.
That's right.
And he sucks because he's not here.
Time. You don't have to throw a die.
That's true. I don't have to go like, okay, let's go to Karen this time. Or no, let's go to Jesse this time.
It's easy mode tonight.
Exactly. We're on autopilot tonight. So what did you think about this episode just in general?
I don't think it's ever going to be one of my favorites.
Right.
But I enjoyed it. And I enjoyed it enough that I watched it twice without any problem at all.
So you're okay with a rewatch?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's perfectly adequate.
Right. And sometimes, you see a show and you love the show, but an episode comes up and you're like, especially if it's something my podcast about, I really don't want to watch this a second time. But this was definitely not a hardship to watch. Just,
like on Supergirl, perhaps recently.
Really?
I'm getting that vibe from you.
Okay, Supergirl, Arrow.
Yeah.
They're. Oh my God! The Inhumans?
Yeah.
I never wanted to watch a second episode of that. So,
well, we don't have to worry about that because no one's going to watch a second episode of that. It's gone.
Thank goodness.
All right. I thought this one was, a perfectly adequate episode. We're back out in space and dealing with Space Amazon.
Correct.
Maybe it should have called this Kerblamazon.
I think that would have been funny.
Yeah, that would have been maybe a little too on the nose. Maybe
and they might have been skirting the trademark infringement.
Just a little bit, yeah. I think maybe that would have been a good idea right now.
I wonder how Bezos is enjoying the buzz around this episode because I'm sure he's heard about it.
You would think. Yeah. Well, this is on top of like the SNL parody sketch that Steve Carell did over the weekend. Right. So apparently it's Make Fun of Amazon Week.
Yeah, it must be.
Although that's Carell sketch on Saturday Night Live was more more of a dig on Donald Trump and Bezos being an actual billionaire. Right. Yeah. All right.
But they're in the news a lot with the new headquarters and stuff. So.
Yeah, and we here in Columbus are not. I mean, we're kind of glad that we dodged the tax bullet.
Yeah.
So, but we're kind of we're disappointed we didn't get the jobs.
Yeah,
so.
I'm glad we moved out of that area because I would have never gotten the job, obviously, to work there, and it just would have increased all of the wages, the cost of living, and everything. So
exactly. So let New York and Washington D.C. deal with that.
Let them have it.
Yeah. All right. We had some guest cast in this episode, of course. We had Julie Hesmondhalgh, Hesmondhalgh. That's probably it. Lots of consonants and vowels in this one. Julie Hesmondhalgh as Judy Maddox. And Julie Hesmondhalgh played most famously Trish Winterman on Broadchurch. Of course, Chris Chibnall's baby. And then we had Lee Mack, who's a British comedian, played Dan Cooper.
I love him when he's on QI.
I've never seen him perform.
QI, is that quiz show type thing.
Yeah, I've never watched that. Yeah. But you've watched it.
I don't know, 8-10 times, something like that over the years. Mm-hmm. And he's always really witty and sharp, and he usually quote unquote wins the episode. Yeah.
But you like him. But you like him.
I mean,
no, yeah, kind of like on Whose Line Is It Anyway?
Right. He usually gets the least amount of deductions.
Got it.
So that's his thing. And so to see him on this episode, I was like, oh my God, that's Lee Mack.
Yeah. So you recognize him right off the bat.
Oh yeah, and of course they use his real name on QI because it's not him playing a character, and
right.
So it was really neat. It was nice to see him playing a character. I've never seen him act before. I've only seen him as himself.
Got it.
So
that's cool. That's cool. I'm glad you like him. Callum Dixon played Jarvis Slade. And if you were a fan of the really obscure British sci-fi series The Tomorrow People back in the day, the original Tomorrow People, he played Ray on The Tomorrow People. And he was recently on Ashes to Ashes, the spin-off series from Life on Mars. Okay. Both of which I am a big fan of.
The UK version, I'm guessing.
The UK version, yes. Yep. The really good one, as opposed to just the good one.
Right.
Because I like the US Life on Mars, but I love the UK Life on Mars.
Yeah, they're two different animals.
They are, completely. And they both have their positive strengths. Mm-hmm. But he played a character known as the Gnome Thief on an episode of Ashes to Ashes. And so I just thought I'd mention that. We had Claudia Jesse, no relation to Jesse Jackson, of course, as Kira Arlo.
That was dumb. I like it. It's very funny.
It's me. I'm full of the dumb.
That wasn't a slam.
That's all right. I'm cool with it. But she played Kira Arlo, the rather naive Kira Arlo. And she was probably most notable because she played a character named Mary in the televised adaptation of Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell. Oh. And I watched that. Yeah, I've watched that a couple times. I like that adaptation. Mm-hmm. Leo Flanagan played Charlie Duffy. And so that's the bad guy of our the guy who turns out to be our villain of our episode, a rather unexpected villain. Mm-hmm. And then we had Matthew Gravel as the voice of the Kerblam Man. So and all also the robots. And all the robots, yes, all the teammates, as they're listed here. He's actually been on several Torchwood episodes. That's cool. And which, of course, Chibnall was showrunner on. He was played a doctor in not the doctor, but a doctor in Torchwood's episodes End of Days. And then he also played in various Torchwood Big Finish audios. But most primarily, he's known because he played Joe Miller on Broadchurch. Of course. And Joe Miller, if you've watched Broadchurch, is a rather key character. I'm not going to spoil why if you haven't watched that. I haven't, but yeah, Broadchurch is worth watching. I should watch it. The UK version, I'm guessing. Yes, the UK version, because if nothing else, because of David Tennant and Olivia Colman, right? Who's also been on Doctor Who besides David Tennant. Super. It is. It's a very engrossing mystery, especially the first season. The second season was more of a trial season. Repercussion. Yeah, they had solved it, and this was the kind of repercussions. Right. And then the third season was a different mystery, but also tied up a lot of loose ends. Okay. So first season's my favorite. At least watch the first season. Okay. Recommended. Because that first season's really strong. So pretty notable cast members. Any other notes that I forgot, Karen? No, I just wanted to mention the thing about Lee Mack. Okay, that's cool. Yeah, I haven't seen him perform, so that's cool. Glad you like him. He did a good job here, I thought. Yeah, he did great. For the as Dan. He had. Yeah, exactly. As red shirt number 1, to use a Star Trek term. Pretty much, yeah. You're right, yeah. All right, so let's dive right into our first topic. And the theme this week should be pretty easy because I had to scramble at the last minute to get these. I was busy at work. I was busy at work today, so I had to scramble to get a theme together. First topic: Ex Machina. Okay. Right. So machines. Yeah, you're on the right track. Mm-hmm. So this is the Doctor, Judy Maddox, and Jarvis Slade I want to talk about. Okay. So management. So yeah, essentially, and the Doctor gets this distress signal that we find out eventually throughout the episode is the computer system itself asking for help. Right. And I want to get your thoughts on the Doctor in this episode and her kind of run-ins with the management there, because the Doctor always has to kind of go after authority, and there's some great lines which I want to talk about when we talk about our favorite quotes.
Okay,
that
I'm sure you duplicated one of mine.
Probably, but I'll let you go first if you want to not spoil it. But yeah, the shade from the Doctor is very strong in this episode.
Well, the Doctor hates the man.
Exactly.
Always.
Or the woman.
Well, but you know what I mean. Quote,
I know.
unquote, the man.
Yeah, the man.
Right. So it's not surprising at all. I enjoyed her barbs.
Right.
Directed at them. Especially Jarva Slade. She did not like him at all. The bearded guy.
Yeah. The big executives there.
Right.
But who everybody expected to be the bad guy, including yours truly.
Exactly, me too. So yeah, I enjoyed her barbs. I enjoyed her standing up for the working class, which she did, and I liked her deductions as we went along as to what the deal was, and her questioning everybody. So, do you know anyone that might ask for help?
Right. She wasn't very subtle, was she?
No, she was not at all subtle. And I really liked the dichotomy of her palling around with the working class, and then the just complete immediate abrasiveness with management. And it's so Doctor. Just very much her thing.
Yeah, the 13th Doctor so far seems to be very defined by her taking the moral high ground.
Yes.
And willing to, looking for a fight almost. Like she's ready to confront people.
Right. Defending with everything she has.
Yeah.
And that's actually to her detriment in a couple of episodes where they kind of had to hold back.
Right.
And not do anything. And she was really torn by those.
Yeah, like we talked about last time in Demons of the Punjab.
Right.
Where we had the Thajarians, that she was itching for a fight with them. Yep. And turned out, guess what? They're not the bad guys.
Exactly.
Yep.
And also in Rosa, where they had to just sit there, she was really upset.
Yeah. But she really wanted to say something, but she knew she couldn't.
Right, because that would defeat the whole purpose.
Yeah, so
I thought this was textbook Doctor, but of course Jodie plays it with her own spin on it.
Right.
So I really enjoyed her take on things, and the way she said things and everything. She just really is so charming.
Yeah.
Has such a magnetism, I think.
Yeah, one thing we definitely need to talk about with Jodie Whittaker's Doctor in this episode is right off the bat, the Doctor gets a package in the TARDIS.
So happy.
And what's in the package, Karen?
I don't remember what was in it.
A fez.
Oh, right, a fez, right.
Because apparently she had ordered that when she was a he, right. in the form of Matt Smith's 11th Doctor.
Right. She couldn't even remember ordering it.
Right.
It must have been a long time ago, and then she puts the fez on.
Yeah.
Right. I'm completely zoned on that.
Now, you kind of have to wonder, what took Kerblam so long to deliver that package? But then you have to figure, the Doctor's in time and space. It's a miracle they even found her.
At all. Correct.
At all, yeah.
It was probably zigging and zagging and...
Right. They're probably just waiting for her to cross that time period.
Right.
Where they could deliver it.
Right. So it's not out of the realm of possibility.
No. But it was kind of nice, and we got a couple of great nods to both Matt's Doctor and David Tennant's 10th Doctor in this episode, which I thought was good, because there was a nice reference to the Unicorn and the Wasp.
Oh, right.
Which we'll talk about, but so yeah, that was kind of nice. So great to connect Jodie Whittaker's era to those previous eras.
Yeah, big time.
And those doctors seem to really influence her doctor.
I think so. Very much.
So it makes perfect sense.
And I loved her wearing the fez. She was really cute.
She looked very adorable. So that's going to be very popular conventions now, is to have the 13th Doctor wearing the fez. So everybody that thought, well, I guess I'll have to retire my fez when doing your 13th. Nope. Guess what?
She wore it.
So there you go. So now you can wear it and keep your.
You don't have a wig.
Yep.
You don't have to. You could just wear the fez with your hair up or something.
But remember, fezzes in any era are always cool. So.
Of course. Always.
Yeah. And she looked adorbs in it.
She did. And she was so excited. I loved it.
Yeah, she was geeking out hard over it, which was fun. She's like, do I still look, does this still work? That kind of thing. Yeah, that's good. That was good. Anything else about the 13th Doctor in this episode that you want to talk about before we move on?
Not that I can think of off the bat, no.
Yeah. All right, so let's move on to our second topic, silent running.
All right.
So we have Ex Machina and Silent Running.
Okay. They're both movie titles, aren't they?
They are both movie titles, but what kind of movie titles?
About robots, right?
There you go. So that's the theme this week. It was I said it was pretty easy, and so slapped together at the last minute. But this is what you get for.
I enjoy it. I can't wait to hear what your third one is.
Yeah, so we have a 24-hour turnaround on this show. So
exactly, you don't have a lot of time.
And I'm working throughout the day, so I'm like, okay, I got to do this, and I'm okay, got to type up some notes, and so it's interesting to say the least right now. All right, at least since Doctor Who moved to Sunday as opposed to Saturday. So, but silent running. I want to talk about our companions in this episode, Ryan, Yaz, and Graham. All right, the friends. Team TARDIS. How's that?
Yeah, they're companions.
The gang, as the Doctor once again refers to them as the gang.
She never calls them companions, though.
Yeah.
So, okay, I just want to say, I can't stop loving Graham.
He's great, isn't he?
Every episode, he's got 2 or 3 scenes where I'm like, I am Graham.
We are all Graham.
Yes, we are Graham. And, when he's hearing all the rules about his new janitorial position and he's like falling asleep and he's talking to his new mentor and
right. I mean, he tries to make the best of it.
Yeah, but even still, it's a very grudging best of it.
Well, when they first kind of assign roles, and Graham gets stuck with janitorial service. Yeah. And Ryan's kind of like giggling.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and Graham's going back and like, not one word.
Right. But he realizes that those are the people that are unassuming and can really dig the deepest and how valuable that position is. So,
and that seems to be Graham's superpower, is relating to the common man.
Mm-hmm. Well, he's a bus driver.
Right. So it makes perfect sense.
Right. So he's definitely blue collar.
Blue collar, definitely blue collar.
And he firmly gets.
And that's not a criticism, by the way.
No. My husband's blue collar.
Right.
For the most part. So I have nothing against it whatsoever. I'm just saying he gloms onto those roles and he understands them 110%. And even though he might grumble at it, I mean, he didn't want to be a janitor, but he understood.
Right.
That was the best role for him.
He made the best of the situation.
Right. And him and Ryan, man. Yeah. They are adorable together.
We still haven't gotten that fist bump yet.
No. Do you think
it's probably coming season finale, I'm thinking. Yeah, so probably in episode 10, I'm guessing. We'll get that. I'll be very disappointed if we don't. Let's put it that way.
And Ryan mentioned his clumsiness again in this episode.
Yeah. And he did it in kind of a joking manner
Mm-hmm.
because there's that great scene where Ryan, Yaz, and what's his name? The Charlie. I don't know how I forgot that.
Right, Charlie.
But go figure. They're about ready to dive into this conveyor belt.
Mm-hmm.
Down this chute to the conveyor belts
Right.
below, and Ryan's talking about like, I should probably mention this, but like I have dyspraxia and it kind of like messes with my coordination and not a lot, but enough to kind of make things awkward and
Yeah.
But just thought you should know.
Just an aside.
Yeah, exactly. By the by, I have dyspraxia, but that whole sequence I loved. When after they go down the chute and they hit the conveyor belt, that whole, it was like almost like reminding me a lot of that kind of chaotic sequence in either like Attack of the Clones with 3PO in the droid factory, or like maybe Indiana Jones in the mine car sequence. Yes, because we share the same brain, you know exactly what I'm talking about.
Me of Star Wars and of Indiana Jones. Yes.
There you go. Yeah.
Having to get down something quick.
Well, just saw that like tense chaos because like, hey, they're on this factory conveyor belt and something could happen at any moment.
Exactly.
But it was such a great sequence.
Mm-hmm. I loved it.
And that kind of was it.
I liked the action part of it. But I also liked the introduction of Ryan. Hey, I might not do so well on the conveyor belt, sort of thing. That just from
the awkwardness.
To end, I really enjoyed it.
Now I love the one part, like when they're on the conveyor belt, and then Ryan high fives Charlie, and then Charlie falls over to the next conveyor belt below. Yeah.
So it's like, he's the one a little more clumsy at that point.
Yeah. Important safety tip: never high five on a conveyor belt, kids. Mm-hmm. So just in case that happens. And remember, we were told no human should get on the conveyor belt, so you knew something was going to happen.
You knew someone was going to get on the conveyor belt. And also, when they showed the
Chekhov's conveyor belt.
And when it's also Chekhov's bubble wrap, because they showed bubble wrap at the beginning and hung a lantern right on that too.
Yep. But that was, I just thought it was great. And then, that they go through this disinfectant and then almost get laser beamed and all this. And it was pretty good. It was just all around. It was a great action sequence on Doctor Who. And obviously they spent some serious money on that sequence.
Which is worth it. A departure from most other seasons of Doctor Who.
Well, because we're both fans of the classic era, that's a big yes. Yeah.
Well, even in the last few seasons, I think this production value was higher than.
Well, I think part of that, and I'm sure a lot of people have picked up on this, is because of having 2 less episodes. It gave them the ability to spread the budget out a little bit. Yeah. So, like the money that you would have spent, I guess they had this choice, like, well, we can spend less money but have more episodes, or we can spend more money and have less episodes.
And I am enjoying
the production values have definitely increased. As evidenced by
we will still have the Christmas episode, so
which is now a New Year's episode. I was going to talk about that, but we might as well talk about it now. So it's not going to be a Christmas episode this year. Christmas is canceled.
A year-end episode.
Yeah, so you have to wait a whole week more for new Doctor Who.
Oh, no.
Now, I know Jesse was kind of bothered because he likes to spend Christmas watching Doctor Who, the new episode of Doctor Who. And I can get that because, hey, it was
tradition.
It was kind of a tradition. And then, like, with Lori and me, like, we would come home from my parents. Like, we would have Christmas dinner over there, and then we come home and watch Doctor Who in the evening. But I'm okay with waiting a week. Yeah. It's all right.
You can
always
rewatch an episode that you loved.
It's not like you can't watch Doctor Who.
Right.
There are other Doctor Who episodes you can watch. There are other Christmas specials.
Something new to look forward to.
Exactly. It's not. I know that some fans are just beside themselves, like, oh, it's Chris Chibnall upsetting the PC, being PC, the war on Christmas, hashtag blah blah blah.
I think he just wanted to put it a little further out from the season ending, right?
Well, and you know, they've done so many Christmas stories that even Moffat was just like, okay, I'm gonna, like, you know, when he was doing I forget the episode title, the one with the superheroes.
Okay.
You know, that you got away from, there wasn't anything Christmas about that.
Right.
So
it just happened to be that episode.
Right. So, but so yeah, just be patient, guys. It's just 1 week, no big deal. All right. Yaz. So we should talk about Yaz, I think, a little bit. She gets kind of paired with the Doctor.
And Dan is
and Dan, yeah. So we should talk about that sequence, because Yaz is kind of like in the warehouse, like the kind of the grunt work in the warehouse, and where she's kind of like carting stuff back and forth, you know, among the big shelves,
right,
in the warehouse, and she's partnered up with Dan, who's just this very average guy, very likable, and he likes her because she laughs at all his corny jokes.
I loved that line. It was really cute.
Yeah,
it's
and
not
so
one of my lines, but
right, but
really sweet.
But then obviously she's the first one to kind of experience danger.
Yep.
When the teammates, you know, the teammate robots kind of surround them, and you know, Dan goes disappearing. There's this blood curdling scream that Doctor Who does so well.
Mm-hmm.
And Yaz comes running, and he's nowhere to be found, and the robot's just like, I don't know what happened to him. Mm-hmm. And then of course they get all menacing, and I like the fact that she thought about her surroundings and dove under those shelves.
I was just going to mention that. I'm not kidding.
Yeah.
I was literally going to mention that was really a great way to get away from robots, because it's not like they're mobile enough to like duck down underneath and go through place. Perfect. I mean, think of
that was very good thinking on Yaz's part. So I thought that, like, kudos for that, because she's making use of her surroundings and used it to her advantage, just like she, you know, hopefully, I guess maybe her police training taught her that.
I'm assuming that's what it was. Yeah.
Yeah, but that was good. So that was good. Let's see. Anything else about the companions in this episode?
No, I think we talked about all of them, right?
Yeah. I just didn't know if there was anything I was forgetting.
No, I think that's it.
Okay. Oh, there was that bit at the end where Yaz asked the Doctor to stop by and see Dan's daughter.
Oh, yeah.
To tell her how much he loved her.
Yeah.
But I guess also to say, I'm sorry, your dad's dead.
Yeah.
But they didn't really focus on that.
They didn't. But then, okay, I know we all know he's dead. But they never really got like a
explanation.
Not an explanation, but a confirmation that he had died. I know he's dead. They knew he was dead. I mean, the same.
Well, just logically, because remember we did see those kind of liquefied human remains.
Right.
So we presumably.
Right. So they probably weren't focusing on Dan being dead. So
right.
As, you know.
It's like, well, let's see. Let me get a jar. Scoop. Yeah. Here's your dad.
Yeah. Exactly.
No, I don't think they would do that. But
no.
All right. So let's move on to topic number 3. Short circuit.
Oh, number 5.
Yeah, Johnny 5.
Yep.
Yeah, from another 80s robot movie back in the day. And actually, I think this title works pretty well, because I want to talk about Charlie.
Okay.
And Kira in this segment.
Okay.
Because Charlie definitely has a bit of a short circuit in this episode.
Wow. Does he ever? And poor
like
Kira,
complete left turn. Whoop.
Yeah. Kira, I think, in another way, also was short circuited. She I think she probably never really lived up to her potential. She settled for less always.
Yeah.
And it just seemed, in order to fit her into the short circuit type thing, I think she just kind of had a disconnect in her brain between what she could be and what she was.
Like she was afraid to aspire to more.
Very much so.
Yeah. Well, that's, people get insecure and, if you're not, business can be very tough, especially if you're not a strong personality.
And I think it, not only was it in business, but I think in her real life as well, just growing up, she never lived with parents, she never got a gift.
Right. Apparently the only gift she got was like some chocolate from a coworker or something.
Last year.
Last year.
And then she also mentioned that she had gotten a compliment at one point, but the doctor saying that she was competent or something was the best thing anyone has ever said about her. So,
it was just kind of an offhanded comment, and she just really took that extremely to heart.
Right. Oh, that's the nicest thing anyone's ever said to me.
Yeah.
So, yeah, she was very different.
And insecure, I think, also. Yeah. But that naivete ends up biting her big time because the teammates kind of bring her into this completely isolated room. There's no way in or out, apparently, of this room.
Right.
And they leave a gift for her. And, of course, because she's so desperate for approval and, and to be liked, that she's just so eager to tear into this gift.
Yep.
And it turns out to be that, well, hey, the bubble wrap, we have exploding bubble wrap. So remember that next time you're wrapping gifts here in a couple weeks for Christmas.
It's still not going to put me off bubble wrap. I'm sorry. I love my bubble wrap.
Yeah. What did you think of the exploding bubble wrap?
I actually thought that scene was really cool. As much as I hated to see Kira die.
Yeah.
I thought the scene was really cool the way they did it with like the slow-mo with her face gonna press on it and then the whole room exploded.
That was the direction in that I thought was rather good.
It was really good.
Because they timed the pop just right with her, like that pull back to show her, and then really quick there's this flash and she's gone.
And you see Ryan and Charlie outside.
Yeah, horrified.
Right.
Yeah. That was good. It was good direction, I thought, by Jennifer Pro. But so that was unexpected. Now you had to kind of expect that Kira was going to die, right?
Yeah.
Because she was a sweet character, and as we know from Linda with a Y in the Eccleston era, sweet characters don't last on Doctor Who.
And especially not after one of her coworkers had already gone missing. And she mentioned at the beginning, oh, well, these people have all gone missing. Of course she's going to be in the rotation for going missing. So I was almost hoping that they would rescue her. Because she didn't deserve it. But the impact was because Charlie was our antagonist and he had such a crush on her and didn't want her to die.
That was the irony of part of it. Yes.
That his machinations actually
caused her death.
And of course he's distraught.
And that's that awkward moment when the girl you're crushing on gets killed by your evil plan.
Correct.
Right?
Yeah, poor Charlie, except not.
Yeah, well, it's hard to feel sympathy for him.
No, I don't.
Just because, he comes to this episode like, again, another adorable character that he's just, he's likable, seems like a really sweet guy, and it doesn't seem like he's crushing on this girl that we're already shipping. I saw comments as I was on Twitter I was watching during the episode talking about like, I can't believe I'm already shipping Charlie and Kira. Yeah, well. And so, which was great misdirection on Pete McTighe's part in the script.
Fantastic. Because again, I had no idea.
No, you didn't see that coming.
None.
And then, no. because he was such an atypical villain.
Even
and then
when they said the machine was the one calling for help, I still didn't suspect him.
Yeah.
You know, until they revealed it was him.
Yeah, and I think if you think you saw it coming, you didn't see this coming.
No.
You just like want people to think
I
you
thought
did.
he was going to die. I thought it was going to be, another.
Yeah, exactly. I agree. Like I thought he was going to die before Kira, personally. Yeah. But as it turns out, Charlie is a extreme activist who apparently wants humans to make up more than 10% of the workforce that they do right now. Right. And his plan, apparently, we find out, is to cause distrust in Kerblam's technology, because by sending out
into abducting and killing people.
Right, and so therefore his we'll turn these things into killing machines, and therefore nobody will trust Kerblam, and then they'll have to go back to real people. Right. I guess is his plan.
Yeah. And I loved the conceit that the Doctor could go back to a really early version of the software.
Yeah.
In order to find out what was going on. I enjoyed that. It seemed much more plausible than even these modern hacking movies, that she would roll back the software in order to.
Yeah, and I know we on Phantom Zone we've talked about how that kind of hand wave with fixing technology and hacking and technology.
Felicity.
So yeah, exactly. Felicity on Arrow, exactly. But so you were okay with the Doctor's idea to use the 1.0 version?
I loved that solution because you know what? If you roll back software, sometimes you can find what the vulnerability is in a system. So I think that's really smart.
Right. And you're right, because obviously with updates, and we know here in modern, here in 2018, that sometimes when the modern version there's a glitch, sometimes the best way to keep running is to downgrade to the previous version.
There are at least 3 applications running on my computer. Well, not running currently, but installed on my computer that are 3 or 4 updates back.
Right.
Because they just work better.
Right. You just weren't fond of how they were operating, or
one of them actually didn't work. Period. My Send to Kindle app.
Yeah.
It just didn't work. So I rolled it. I keep it rolled back. I tell it never update.
I had that for a while with Apple's iTunes because it wasn't burning my playlists to CDs. Yep. And then they finally fixed that problem, thankfully.
Yeah, I remember keeping iTunes.
But it was down for 3 months. Yeah. And so I was just I was going through so many blank CDs. I would test it every so often. Nope, didn't work. Get an error message, and the CD's ruined. So you just have to throw it away.
Yep.
So yep. Oh well.
For the cat.
Yep. Speaking of which, my cat Keiko is just right over here to my right, napping. She can't hear you because I got my headphones on, but I'll tell her hi for you. Yeah. So everybody out there in Next Stop Everywhere podcast land, you can wish my cat a hi too if you want.
And Chuck is outside, so you cannot wish my cat a hi.
But all right, so getting back to the episode, we had the exploding bubble wrap. Now, were you wondering about why the bubble wrap that Ryan popped in the TARDIS did not cause an explosion?
It was sent a long time ago.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
That it was back. It was. Yeah, that's but the question is when. But yeah, presumably, the order was boxed way before Charlie ever got there. I know some people were kind of
plan was being put into action or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, I saw some theories about that online. They were talking about maybe it's the temporal grace of the TARDIS, which, if you're not familiar with temporal grace in the TARDIS console room, that's this kind of very nebulous story concept that guns don't operate inside the TARDIS console except when we need them to operate.
Right.
You know,
Hand wave.
Kind of like the whole fixed point in time.
Well, I think that may have been why they made it a Fez.
Right.
In order to show that it was ordered.
It's a while ago. Yeah.
A long time ago. I mean, this is a whole regeneration behind.
Yeah.
So she's had a whole regeneration.
So presumably that Kerblam man was out there like hundreds of years, looking for the TARDIS.
Right.
Yeah. So way before Charlie got there, apparently. So.
And I think that Charlie's plan had been relatively short-lived.
Yeah.
Months, maybe.
It couldn't have been that long because it was just.
There were just a few people that.
But here's the question though. Okay. Now that I'm on the subject.
Okay.
If it was a while ago when that package was put together. Mm-hmm. How did the AI's help message get in there? Ooh, boom.
Maybe the receipt activates when you open the package.
Ooh, that's a good explanation. Like for whatever reason, maybe once it connects to, maybe once it's confirmed, then the receipt.
That's when you get
the receipt downloads or something. Maybe. That's a good way out of that. I think it's a plot hole, personally.
I think so too, but can we say it's that?
Yeah, let's say it's that. Okay. So Peak-Me-Tig, you owe us because Karen came up with a good solution for your plot hole there.
The only one I can think of, really, that would work.
Yeah, well, that's actually a good one. I like that one. So I'll give you points.
They're not
you get points for that.
Amazon. They're definitely updated. And
they
can find people through space and time, so
right.
I guess that works.
Yep. Now another thing I thought was funny was that for being a parody of Amazon, Kerblam packages their products way better than Amazon does.
Kind of.
Like they use way more bubble wrap. Because I know especially because I order CDs in the mail or from Amazon or maybe the occasional graphic novel.
Mm-hmm. They're not packaged great.
They're not packaged well at all. For one thing, they're just kind of laid in an oversized box, so they kind of rattle around. And half the times I order CDs from Amazon, the jewel cases are broken.
Right. Cracked or broken
Right. And if it's a graphic novel, I have to pray to Rassilon that it's not a rainy day and that the package isn't laid out on the porch, because if it is, the box gets so sopping wet, and it's not wrapped in any kind of protective plastic.
It's just all
so then the book will get ruined.
Right.
So get your packaging together, Amazon. Stop skimping on the packaging.
I agree with that. Seriously.
Spend some of that money, Bezos, and get upgrade that packaging.
We're cheap, and we package our eBay stuff way better than that.
Yeah, exactly. So, but anyway, I just thought that was funny. It's just like, oh, Kerblam. I was like, is there a Kerblam Prime service that I could subscribe to? Kerblam Prime. It's like I'm
Unlimited.
If all you have to worry about is the occasional exploding bubble wrap, I'm willing to consider this.
I want Kerblam Unlimited so that I could get books that haven't been published yet.
Nice.
To read.
Nice.
That would be a plus.
That would be a plus. Mm-hmm. Like books, like in the future.
Right.
Right.
Very
good.
Books.
Like read the book before the author even writes it. There's your tagline.
Love that.
That's a great tagline, isn't it?
Hey, Maisie, I love that you put this in there. What?
But I just was thinking about that the other day. I haven't even started on it.
Although I could say I'm happy to put a unicorn in this book because she's got unicorns in every book.
Now, as a writer, I would find the idea of selling books before I even write them very appealing.
Yeah, right? You could do that circular...
kind of like
buy your book and
kind of like in Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, where they do stuff that they and they just have to do it later.
Right.
So that then they go back in time and
Right.
like have to remember to go back in time to make
Isn't
this.
it that bootstrap paradox thing? You could just get the book.
Yep.
And then submit it.
Right.
Because
it's already there.
Right.
Exactly. It exists because
it exists.
Exists. Right. Exactly. Yeah. Nice. All right. All right. Cool. Anything else about this episode before we move on?
No, I think we covered it.
I think we did too. So, what's your favorite lines of the episode? Since you had a good one, I didn't want to steal yours from. All right. Why don't you give me that one so I don't steal it?
Okay. Kira says, rule number 1, keep all loose clothing, hair, and body parts away from the conveyor and never, ever climb onto the conveyors. Any person found on the conveyor faces immediate termination.
Get it?
Get it? Termination?
Yep.
Yeah.
Nice.
I like that one only because she says termination and you just know.
Right.
It's, something bad is going to happen with the conveyor.
Yeah. I like this one quote from Jarvis Slade, Jarvis Slade, Jarvis Slade and the Doctor.
Yeah.
Where he's kind of trying to be all menacing toward her, and he goes, "How would you like a warning for insubordination?" And the Doctor replies, "I'd love one. I could add it to my collection."
That's good. And building off that, the Doctor says, "And you are?" And Jarvis says, "Jarvis Slade, warehouse executive, your boss." And the Doctor says, "Well, you've certainly got the clipboard for it."
I had that one too. That's good. Yeah. That was great. The shade from the Doctor on that, the sass, was strong. The Doctor and Graham have a great exchange where the Doctor says, "I need you to find out the history of the company and try to get some plans of the complex." Graham's like, "How am I going to do that?" The Doctor replies, "You're perfectly placed. No one questions a cleaner. You've got unrestricted access." And Graham rather snarkily replies, "Yeah, and chronic skin irritation."
Yep. It's great.
Graham always gets some good lines.
I'll build off of that again.
Yeah.
Graham says, "So, even though everything's automated, there's still an idiot boss."
Yeah, unfortunately, that never seems to go away, does it?
No, it doesn't.
Doctor had a good line about conspiracies, where she says, "That's the problem with conspiracies. There's so much to think about."
Oh, I see what she did there.
Right?
Ryan says, "Workplace crush?" And Graham says, "Reminds me of you when you were younger. When I say younger, I mean last month." But
that was good. That was a great zinger. That was a great zinger.
Yeah.
There's a great
joke.
Exactly, but it's all right. It was a strong dad joke. This exchange between Yaz and the Doctor I like, where Yaz is going, "You're the sort of person who would stick a stick in a wasp's nest just to see what happened." And the Doctor replies, "Talking about wasps, did I ever tell you about me and Agatha Christie?"
Yes, she has to drop a name in every episode.
She does, and that's her name. Yeah, that's her name drop, Agatha Christie. So she's very much like the Eighth Doctor in that respect, because the Eighth Doctor was dropping names all over the place. Yeah. So, any other quotes before we move on?
Nope, I'm done.
Nope. All right, what's your rating?
I give it 8 conveyor belt rides.
Very nice. Well, we're in sync. I give it 8 as well. I give it 8 still cool fezzes.
Very nice.
Because fezzes are still cool.
I knew you would pick the fez.
Yeah, I was going to do with fezzes or rolls of deadly bubble wrap. If, like Jesse had taken fezzes.
Yeah.
So, but he wasn't here. Now, Jesse did email. He actually instant messaged his rating. So I should probably give Jesse's rating here. So he doesn't show up for the podcast, but he does give his rating. Have fun. Okay, he says, I give it 8.5 dad heart necklaces.
Oh.
Because of Dan's heart necklace from his daughter. Yeah. So that Yaz, I guess, was determined to give back to her.
Yeah.
So Jesse liked it even more than we did.
Cool.
So
there's things to like.
There is, and obviously he enjoyed that one. So, and it's just for anybody, I think that was getting a little frustrated that we weren't doing traditional Doctor Who, and I'm saying this with the air quotes here.
Right.
Traditional Doctor Who. Yeah. They probably enjoyed this one because this was a very traditional episode, I think. Yeah, go out in space, people get killed, the Doctor fights robots. Except for the twist.
Doesn't usually happen this severely.
Exactly.
This was a complete surprise.
Yeah. Now we do have a lot of feedback, so I'm just going to do another real quick reverse the polarity this time. We're going to go back, and Karen might appreciate this one. We're going to go back to 1977.
Hey, Dr. Ford.
Dr. Ford, the Fourth Doctor, with the Robots of Death.
Oh, yes.
That's the 5th serial from season 14 in 1977, written by Chris Boucher, where we have the Fourth Doctor and Leela arriving via TARDIS on Storm Mine 4, a large sand-crawling miner vehicle used to gather valuable materials from a desert planet brought to the surface by powerful sandstorms. And they find that the vehicle has minimal human crew and oversee the menial work done by numerous robots. Well, hey, there's our connection right there to Kerblam and teammates, exactly. And so they find, that the robots are divided into 3 classes: Dumb, which can't speak; Vok, which interact with the humans; and Super Vok, that manage the other robots. And, of course, people start dying, and you got to find out who the murderer is. And then ultimately robots get killed. And, after making sure that everybody's safe, that's still alive, the Doctor and Leela leave. So if you enjoyed Kerblam, you'll like that one. Yeah. And it's actually a really good one from the Tom Baker era.
Very good one. I believe I was guest starring on Next Stop Everywhere to talk about that episode. I think.
I have to check because I keep an index of who's been on what.
You can check and see.
So yeah, I'll consult the index.
You didn't choose the Unicorn and the Wasp.
I thought that would have been a little too obvious. It was a reference, but I thought this story was
the story was. I'm making fun.
Yeah. Okay.
She actually references.
Yes.
Series 4 episode, "The Unicorn and the Wasp," which stars an elderly Agatha Christie.
Right. Played by Fenella Woolgar, who was done really well in that episode.
Look at this, man.
Yeah.
Right off the top of your head, because you had no idea I was going to bring that up.
Nope.
Very nice.
Every so often that stuff comes out, and it's there and it's waiting to come out.
Falls right out of your head.
It's like earwax, clink clink. Yeah, exactly. All right. So we talked about the New Year's Day special, and now we do have a synopsis for that. Okay. Do you have that one, or I can read it?
No. I don't have anything.
All right, so if you want some background on that New Year's Day special, it's of course written by Chris Chibnall because he's the showrunner, directed by Wayne Yip, who's directed episodes of Preacher and Dirk Gently's Holistic Detective Agency.
I recognize the name.
Yeah, because we've talked about Yippee on the Phantom Zone. The synopsis is: as the new year begins, a terrifying evil is stirring from across the centuries of Earth's history. Will the Doctor, Ryan, Graham, and Yaz be able to overcome this threat to planet Earth? Dun dun dun.
Dun, dun.
Yeah, exactly.
Another Earth-based episode.
Right.
We're doing a lot of those this season.
Yes, they are. Oh. Nice. There's our dramatic sting. All right. Now we did get, like I said, we got a lot of feedback. So I don't know, Karen, do you have access to our inbox?
I don't.
You should. We need to hook you up with that. I'll hook you up with that.
All right. I just need
if you want. Yeah, exactly. So because that way maybe in the future I won't have to read them all.
You know what?
But
I don't even have access to the Phantom Zone's Gmail account.
I got to hook you up with that too, apparently.
Yeah, that would be good.
Okay. You can see how organized we are, can't you?
Right. It's not something that I require 100%, but
No, because you usually ask me if you need it, but
right.
yeah, but it would be nice to have in case.
Yeah.
Exactly. All right. So first, writing in.
So I can use it in order to avoid spam registering on websites.
Exactly. Nice.
I would never do that.
No, you'd never do that. We have the return of Isaac in Michigan writing back in. Who's right? He's writing about.
For me?
No, that's all right. You're good. So he's writing in about Demons of the Punjab. So we're kind of playing catch up here. He says, "Wow, I don't really get emotional during TV shows, but this one got to me. The story, the music, the really good acting. If this is what to expect from Doctor Who, then I'm really excited to keep watching. I have a brother whom I love dearly, so to see two brothers so torn apart really got to me. Well done, Doctor Who. And I'm a little saddened by the episode, but at the same time, really excited to see what comes next. By the way, I'll probably email regularly. Don't feel like you have to read them every time. I just like encouraging and interacting with podcasts I enjoy. Cheers and God bless."
Awesome.
Isaac in Michigan.
We'll read it every time, most likely.
As time allows, like if we get stuck, we may have to cut things short. But I think at the moment we were okay. We're doing pretty good with running time. As long as you're okay with us reading them. So thanks for writing in, Isaac. We really appreciate that. And glad you enjoyed Demons of the Punjab. Hope you enjoyed Kerblam as well.
I feel about the same way about the Demons of the Punjab episode.
I think so. Next we have Holly Mack. Holly from Wisconsin is writing in. She goes, "Hello, Jesse, Charles, and Karen."
He wrote it the wrong way. She wrote it the wrong way.
I know. You're supposed to put your name first,
That's
right?
Right.
All right. Well, you're on notice, Holly.
Yes, reverse alphabetical is how it needs to go.
So it should go KJC?
Correct.
Okay. So I'm last.
Hey, I can't help it. Your name starts with a C.
Why can't it be KCJ?
Okay, it could be, but I'm trying to find a good way to say the order. Reverse alphabetical works because I'm last in that.
I see how it is. All right.
Sorry.
Collateral
damage.
That's all right. I'm used to it. I'm married. I have to say that I enjoyed the episode, Holly writes in. Love the callback to the 11th Doctor's fascination with fezzes. Wasn't that great? Plus, I'll never look at bubble wrap the same way again.
I will.
Didn't see the twist. A lot of people apparently were freaked out by the bubble wrap.
Really? It's
I know.
Fiction being the operative word there.
Some people get really into stories like that. My wife, Lori, is one of them, but I don't think she's going to give up bubble wrap.
Yeah, I don't even think I'm going to think about it the next time I see bubble wrap.
Yeah. Plus, I'll never. Okay, is the bubble wrap the same way again? She says, didn't see the twist coming with who the actual bad guy was. Yeah, we didn't either. Not much else to say. Wishing you all a happy Thanksgiving.
You too.
Well, thank you, Holly. So happy Thanksgiving to you as well, and to everybody else out there.
Happy American Thanksgiving.
Happy American Thanksgiving. That's a good point. Yeah, because a lot of countries don't celebrate Thanksgiving. Go figure.
Many Canadian friends.
Right.
And they always get on my case when I say happy Thanksgiving.
So if you're Merkin, then happy Thanksgiving.
Correct.
All right. Paul from Australia writes in, and this was a very obviously Australian creative episode. Hi, Charles, Jesse, and Karen. See, that's how it should be done.
No.
Paul gets it.
Incorrect.
No, totally correct. Well, an episode that literally lives up to its title. I will definitely never look at bubble wrap the same way again. I'm noticing a theme here. Really liked this episode. It had a very Robots of Death vibe to it. Well, I see what you did there. Yeah. So yeah, which as a Tom Baker fan, I love. Yeah. So yeah,
these robots looked a million times better, of course, but
it's funny because I was thinking the robot. you saw the Sylvester McCoy story, The Greatest Show in the Galaxy, right?
I'm sure I did.
That was the one in the circus.
Okay, yeah.
Okay. The Kerblam robots look a lot like the bus conductor.
Oh, they do.
And
Updated,
look up,
updated.
yeah,
version.
yeah. Look at updated, but still, so look up bus conductor greatest show in the
especially
galaxy.
With the weird glow.
Yeah, the weird face, that kind of like just that kind of almost kind of Playmobil face.
Yeah.
You know,
Big
that
round. Glow.
yeah. So that lack of human face, but that kind of odd, goofy expression on their faces.
Mr. Roboto.
Yeah, exactly. But that's the one that reminded me of personally. Paul continues, the only criticism I have is over the doctor's over-dependency on using her sonic screwdriver. She was using it all over the place. Surely the writers can't be cleverer or more clever.
Yeah, but I mean, isn't that kind of the function of the sonic screwdriver? It's kind of a all-in-one tool. So
yeah, but this doctor, so far, Jodie Whittaker did. Yeah, she does wave it around a lot, though.
She does.
You know, maybe that'll change.
Again, that's writing and directing.
Yeah, so maybe they'll dial that back a little next season. Sure. This minor quibble aside, as I said, I like this episode with Team TARDIS trying to solve the mystery of the cryptic "Help Me" message. Mm-hmm. A really good story that had you guessing right up until.
That's bother me, by the way.
Help me. Yeah. Oh, I blew your mind, didn't I, with that? Yeah.
Okay, sorry, go ahead. Sorry,
that's okay.
Paul.
Yeah. A really good story that had you guessing right up until the reveal in the basement. Mm-hmm. In parentheses, Paul writes, both Linda and I failed to guess who the villain was, even though we tried all episode. Mm-hmm. As we were watching, we would make lousy detectives, but it was fun trying. Smiley face. It was
Jarva until the very end.
You were supposed to think it was him.
Yeah, I think so too.
I mean, especially if you're like us, that you watched a lot of Doctor Who.
But it wasn't so obvious either. I mean, it was like, okay, he could probably be the one.
There wasn't any indication that he was up to no good. Right. Yeah. Charlie, that is.
He wasn't right.
Yeah. So he signs off here, sending you all my kindest regards, as always, Paul. P.S. So witches next time. Looks intriguing.
It does.
Does.
Yeah, I like the.
We'll talk about that here in a minute because I got one more email from David K. Proctor, who writes in every so often. Charles, Jesse, and Karen. See, David gets it too. He's going alphabetical, so it's reverse alphabetical, right? Seriously. Yeah. So David writes in, I really missed you guys last week for Demons in the Punjab. I look forward to your podcast as much as I look forward to episodes of the show. I think he's talking about because it took us a couple of days extra to get that posted. It just
got posted. So.
It just got posted. So, yeah. So there you go, David. We finally got it up there. Yeah. Just a little delay in the production. That's all. It's us. We get we're allowed a little slack now and then, hopefully.
It was me.
I wasn't going to mention that.
No, it was me. I thought I had already published it. I'm not kidding. I really did.
She's going to own up for it. All right. I was going to just let that slide and move on. But
okay. It's my fault 100%. So
yeah, it's all right. You've had some health problems, so I think that everybody should give you a little slack on that.
Being dumb.
That's all right. Everybody has those moments. Jesse was late too getting that up, so he's not blameless either.
I should have posted it right away.
Yeah.
So I'm taking responsibility.
All right. Good for you. Let's see. There are other podcasts out there, and I do listen to some of them as well, but they're not as good. I hope all is well. Keep up the good work. Look forward to hearing the next podcast. Thanks, David. Nice. That is very nice. Thank you, David. And, appreciate you kind of putting us above a lot of those other Doctor Who podcasts. We definitely appreciate that. Hopefully we keep everybody entertained. We're trying to keep everybody entertained.
Plug to Don't Blink because
right.
They're good.
They are good. I will. Yep. But just after you listen to us, right?
Of course.
You got to listen to us first, and then you listen to them.
Then go listen to Wayne.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. All right. There, we can spread it around. So next time on Next Stop Everywhere, we're going to talk about The Witchfinders, which is very cool, and features Alan Cumming, a.k.a. Nightcrawler from the X-Men movies.
Alan Cumming, that's great.
Alan Cumming as King James.
I like that.
So, yep. So that should be rather interesting. And for the 8th episode, as we get in the home stretch of Series 11. All right. So if you want to be like Isaac, Holly, Paul, and David, where can they reach us, Karen?
You want me to say?
If you want, I can say it.
No, I can say it. Give me a minute.
All right. I thought you had it there.
No, I don't put it on that.
Okay.
So you can email us at nextstopeverywheresmg@gmail.com, which I shall get access to forthwith.
Yes. I would do it right after this podcast.
Find us on Facebook by searching for Next Stop Everywhere Podcast, or just go to facebook.com/Next Stop Everywhere Podcast, all one word. On Instagram, we are at Next Stop Everywhere Podcast. And on Twitter, we are Next Stop SMG. And you can also listen and subscribe to us in Apple Podcasts and leave us a review.
Please do, because that helps people find us, and we definitely appreciate that. And hopefully you're enjoying the podcast. Hopefully, even though we're kind of rotating TARDIS members, partners in time here.
It's always the three of us. It's just sometimes one of us has an issue.
Yeah. I guess it's my turn next, because...
No, I don't want to be doing any heavy lifting.
You like me doing the heavy lifting.
We reschedule if you can't be there. You are the linchpin.
You're sweet.
Yeah. If you can't be there, we'll take off.
I would think everybody else would be happy to have me skip an episode now. Then.
Absolutely not.
All right. Well, thank you, I think, for that. So, yeah. No, I appreciate that.
Okay,
Thank you.
And I'm going to go here and say you can reach Jesse Jackson on Twitter at Jesse Jackson DFW, since he's not here to do it.
Right. And he would love to plug Set Listing Bruce, his Bruce Springsteen podcast, so go check that out. And he would also probably like to plug Titan Talk, the Titans podcast, which I hear is a great podcast.
I heard it's really good, too.
And we're... Yeah, the co-host, not so much. But Jesse's awesome in it.
No, you're awesome, too.
Thank you. Your flattery. Flattery will get you everywhere.
It is true.
But as for me, you can reach me at Charles Skaggs on the Twitter machine as Karen gets her button finger ready.
I'm ready.
All right. At Charles Skaggs on the Instagram. Facebook, of course, at Charles Skaggs in Hilliard, Ohio.
For all crazy kids on the Facebook.
For all you crazy kids on the Facebook. Yeah, I have to do that now, I guess.
No,
thank you for no, I should, because I want to keep the crazy kids tradition going.
Know.
You always seem like you miss it.
I do miss it.
Yeah, all right. For all you crazy kids on the Facebook.
Okay, go ahead.
There you go. And my blog of geeky things.
Damn good coffee. And hot.
Dale Cooper's a little staticky there.
Was he?
Yeah, and the theme music was a little staticky too. Hopefully, it doesn't come through in the final product. Okay, hopefully, fingers crossed. But where I talk about all the stuff we talk about here, Next Stop Everywhere, Doctor Who, Torchwood, Sarah Jane Adventures, and Big Finish audios, and all kinds of comic book sci-fi news. And news of my other podcasts, such as
more.
And more. So I have to say, well, okay, news of my other podcast and more.
There you go.
All right, including my podcast. Yes, you are. See, I told you guys we're having fun today. Titan Talk, the aforementioned Titan Talk, the Titans podcast that I do with Jesse. Where we talk about the DC Universe series Titans and other things.
Titan Talk.
Yeah, by the way, Titan Talk, the Fandom Zone podcast that I do with a certain Karen Lindsay.
Yes.
Who may or may not be on pain meds when we record that.
There are several back issues of
Yes.
the Fandom Zone where I am
over 150. No. And
I think you might also hear me on pain meds.
Right. Yeah, we still got to record that episode. And then Ghost with the Twin Peaks podcast, they do a Zan Sprouse, wife of comic artist Chris Sprouse, where we talk about all things Twin Peaks, David Lynch, and whatever random nonsense fills our head there as well. And more.
I noticed the common denominator on all of your podcasts, and most of mine,
yes,
is pop culture references.
It does seem to be a trend, doesn't it? That's just it's kind of where my brain goes because I'm so into pop culture. I shared a post about Parks and Rec, and you and I can't do. I actually mentioned that I can't do Parks and Rec references on this podcast very much. Well, you could. Jesse will get it.
You wouldn't get it.
Well, for a while there, I wasn't getting the psych references until you explained it to me.
Right. Parks
so
and Rec is different, though.
Okay.
Literally.
Literally?
You don't get it.
No, I don't.
Right, because Chris on the show says, that is literally the best thing ever. It's like his... Okay. See?
His catchphrase.
Yeah, but you're looking at me like I'm crazy. I can't...
No, I'm not looking at you like you're crazy.
Parks and Rec here.
I just have so many shows, Karen.
I know. Parks and Rec, though, should be... It should be...
Up there?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's really super funny.
Well, you talked about like Monty Python though, and I'd rather like watch some Python again.
But you've already seen all the Monty Python.
I know, but it's Python. That shouldn't matter.
Broadchurch.
Okay, that's fair.
And I'll give you a few episodes of Parks and Rec to watch.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair. All right. So there you go. Everybody's homework assignments. We've got. All right. Yeah, exactly. Self-imposed homework assignments.
So, I mean, you guys probably, if you look at my Facebook or Twitter feeds, there's quite a bit of Archer, Parks and Rec.
Exactly, etc. All right. So before we hit that 1 hour 30-minute mark,
we're not close.
Okay. But we're getting there. So yeah, we should. So we'll wrap this up for now. Jesse.
I am at Oliveria.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
Eria.
I am so sorry. See, my brain. I told you I forget stuff.
I did Jesse's, so you thought I had already done.
That's on me. I will own that and take responsibility for that.
At Oliveria, Aleveria on the Twitter machine, and there's a link in my bio to my blog, at which you can find all my other links. There you go.
All right. Sorry. I am so sorry about that. 9 o'clock at night. Give me a break. Yeah. But anyway, thank you guys for listening to Next Stop Everywhere. We really appreciate it. We really appreciate all the feedback, loving all the mail that we're getting. Yeah. And I hope you guys are still enjoying the show.
Now, can you guys
Jesse,
go to the Fandom Zone and send feedback in for that?
That would, yeah. If you enjoy what we do here, this kind of nonsense, check us out on the Fandom Zone, because we would definitely appreciate that. We get listeners, but we don't get a lot of feedback, and we would love to get some feedback on the Fandom Zone. Definitely. So if you like comic book shows on television,
and
pop culture references, because exactly. If you enjoy that, if you had fun with us doing that here, please check us out there, because that would make our day.
That's right.
So yeah, if not, no big deal, but it would be definitely appreciated. Sure. All right. Thanks, everybody, again for listening, and we will see you next time on Next Stop Everywhere for the Witchfinders. That looks kind of creepy. I'm looking forward to it.
Me too.
All right. Bye, everybody. Kerblam!